What's going on today, YouTubers? Welcome to another edition of Walking Reviews. Today we're going to be taking a look at a custom knife, and this is a new maker to me. This is the Scout by Guthrie. So real quick, let's just go ahead and jump into the specs. We have a 3 1/8 inch blade of Bowler M390. It's been hand rubbed, satin finished, and it's got that really nice full flat grind that terminates in an extremely nice edge. Obviously classic drop point shape. This is a very classic blade style, but also extremely useful. A full flat grind drop point blade with a fairly thin behind the edge. That's like the pinnacle of usefulness in my opinion. Other blade shapes obviously have their place. You know, like a sheep's foot is really good for certain things. Wharncliffe is great for certain things, but as far as general, everyday, all-purpose usefulness, I'd say the drop point is probably king. The handle length is just about 4.4 inches. On the show side here we have lightning strike carbon fiber. Really beautiful piece of lightning strike carbon fiber, no voids. And on the lock side obviously we have titanium. The titanium has been heavily milled for weight, and this knife comes in at just over 3 ounces, so right around the 3 ounce mark. Alright, let's get into the good stuff. Really simple design, just the couple standoffs in the pivot. It looks a little odd to you probably, the shape of it. It doesn't really look like anything else out there. That's one of the things I like about it. But it also is an extremely well thought out and ergonomic knife. If you're a right-handed user. If you're a lefty, probably not as much, but still the fundamental comfort of the design is there. So you have this little groove here that your thumb kind of sinks down into, and that leads you right to the jimping on the blade spine, which is well executed. It's not quite on Thorburn level of catchiness to your thumb, but it's right there. It's very close. And with the thumb groove there, it just fits perfectly. You also have the milled finger groove into the show side scale here, where your index finger sits, and that really is the two anchor points for your main grip, and they are very comfortable, and they lock your hand in perfectly. So very well thought out design. As far as the blade to handle ratio, it looks off. Like it looks like the blade is too small, or the handle is too long, but it just works. It works well. I mean, it's not the greatest blade to handle ratio ever, but I find that this blade length of 3 1/8 inches is right, kind of where I need it to be all-purpose. So as far as deployment methods, you can see it's just the single thumb stud, and it is very smooth deploying, very fast and very smooth. It rides on nylon washers, and I think I've had this conversation in other reviews or rants of mine on this channel. I don't care what you make the pivot out of, ball bearings, ceramic ball bearings, make it out of whatever you want. It comes down to how the knife is designed and executed that really makes the knife smooth or not. And this thing is, you know, just get a little shake and it pretty much drops closed. It didn't come out of the box that way. I know I've kind of railed in the past about knives that need to break in, and actually when this first came out of the box and I started playing with it, I was a little disappointed. I mean, it wasn't a whole lot stiffer than this, but it was a little bit stiffer than this. So I was a little bit kind of disappointed, but within half an hour of me playing with it, it had already smoothed out to the point that you see it now. Although I can see that it gets a little bit smoother every day that I use it. Pocket clip, I really like the pocket clip. I like these standoff pocket clips because they're so easy going in and out of the pocket. This does kind of stick out a little bit, which is weird. I don't know why, other than aesthetically he went with that to fasten the pocket clip. But being as that's on the outside of your pocket anyway, it does give you a nice bit of traction when you're pulling it out of the pocket, so that's good. The one weird thing I will say is it's such an extreme lock bar cutout. For me, it's not a concern because I'm not really abusing the knife anyway. But for such a thick piece of titanium to lock the knife up and to have such a huge cutout, I don't know whether that would change the integrity, you know, I mean, because really the strength of the lock is at your weakest point, and that's the weakest point. And it's fairly thin. I mean, you can see for yourselves, it's thinner than the pocket clip even, which makes locking and unlocking the knife very easy. But I don't know, I mean, if someone went to like do something crazy with this knife, which they shouldn't be doing anyway, but if they did, and that's their prerogative to do so, I don't know how well that would hold up. I mean, it's given me no issues whatsoever, but then again, like I said, I'm not really abusing the knife. For me, it's just food prep, package opening. That's pretty much my daily uses for a knife. It's got this really cool little detail here, like a pivot collar type thing. I don't know why he used the weird hardware. I would have said just go for a Torx on this side as opposed to that. And then on this side it is a custom pivot, very much like the Trevor Berger knives that I've shown you. One thing I didn't mention, the blade is sterile and his maker's mark is there on the pocket clip. So overall we have, in my opinion, an excellent design for EDC. Really well executed, and as far as materials go, top notch. As far as the price goes, these are pretty hard to find and they're a little pricey. I think I paid right around $700 for this, if memory serves correctly, which is a pretty expensive knife. I would compare this almost to like a Sebenza. I think this has better fit and finish and better quality than a Sebenza, and hence the higher price tag. Plus you're getting better materials on this. Not to mention it's made completely by hand, whereas the Sebenza is a full production knife. So you figure you're paying around $400 for a Sebenza, and you're paying around $700 for this. Is it worth the extra $300? To me, the answer was yes. To you, could be a resounding no. It is such a really good EDC design that it begs to be a user. So for $700, you might be expecting something that you would just want to have sit around as a collection piece, and I think this is not a collection piece. The way it's built and the materials that are used, this is something that I think should be used. So what I would really like to see is one of the better production companies pick up this design, or Jason kind of collaborate with a production company, because there's nothing else like this, really. Nothing made that is as comfortable or just as well thought out as far as EDC knives go. There are a ton of flippers out there, but having a really cool and really well made thumb stud deployment knife, it's something that I haven't seen on the production market in quite some time. So anyways, that's going to wrap this up. The contest is ending for the Ouroboros. That giveaway is ending on Wednesday, so if you haven't entered already, do that. And yeah, I will catch you guys on the next video, which will probably be the conclusion of the giveaway. Alright guys, take it easy.